Posible kayang baguhin agos ng buhay natin. Mahirap ang mangarap, pero huwag kang kukurap. Posible bang totohanin mga pangako sa'kin? Hindi kwento, hindi bola, solusyong may pruweba na. Sulong laban, huwag uurong. Pakinggan sa iyong puso ang sigaw na dating bulong. Posible.
Marami kami! Mayroon pa palang ganito sa buhay namin.
Matal manalo, hindi tayo makakapaya.
Posible kayang lagpasan lahat ng iyong inaasahan. Sa unos ng paghamon, may bilis na aksyon. Sulong laban, huwag uurong. Pakinggan sa iyong puso ang sigaw na dating bulong. Posible, sulong isko, huwag susuko. Tunay na solusyon, tunay na mabilis umaksyon. Posible, 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 posible. Posible kayang baguhin agos ng buhay natin. Mahirap ang mangarap, pero huwag kang kukurap. Posible bang totohanin mga pangako sa'kin? Hindi kwento, hindi bola, solusyong may pruweba na. Sulong laban, huwag uurong. Pakinggan sa iyong puso ang sigaw na dating bulong. Posible.
Marami kami! Mayroon pa palang ganito sa buhay namin.
Matal manalo, hindi tayo makakapaya.
Posible kayang lagpasan lahat ng iyong inaasahan. Sa unos ng paghamon, may bilis na aksyon. Sulong laban, huwag uurong. Pakinggan sa iyong puso ang sigaw na dating bulong. Posible, sulong isko, huwag susuko. Tunay na solusyon, tunay na mabilis umaksyon. Posible, posible, posible,
Oo nga, bango.
Let's go.
Kuya, ay, di ba ito? My best friend there. I need you. Are you following me?
Thank you Nadala mo ba? Hindi ko alam.
Hindi mo.
Oo nga. Kagdala lang kagabi. Pinala lang kagabi.
Personal yun, no, ha? Uy, nakadala ako. Of course, I'm here. Ready? Thank you.
I slept around 3, so I had 2 hours. Pagiging.
When you show this important, you give your most valuable resource, your time. Most, it's your efficiencies in your operations through extensive parcel management, freight forwarding, contract logistics, and warehousing. We know that your success is others too.
Manong din yun. Tapos ka na?
Your company should be free from discrimination. I filed a bill for that against discrimination gender, as well as sexual orientation and language. Let us also ensure that our offices are free from sexual harassment and other forms of abuse. I was co-author of the Safe Spaces Act, or what is called Bawal ang Bastos. But what good are rights if a person is hungry or abused or without access to education and a decent means of employment or livelihood? Ika nga, without the financial means to receive a proper education, generations after generations will be prevented from achieving social mobility and attaining equal opportunities. This in turn prevents them from earning higher wages and entrenching them further into poverty. At may nagsabi, if you educate a woman, you educate a family. Di ba ganon? Ang nanay kasi mahilig magpayo, so natututo tayo mas lalo sa kanya. Women should also have better access to capital. When you give a small loan and support to a woman, you see the entire family potentially lifted out of extreme poverty. This is also another quote. Sabi nga ni Wash Sisip, napansin niya na ang mga babae mas maaasahan magbayad ng utang. Yun ang napansin. Yun sa mga nagpapasapiling siya at yung mga small, medium enterprises. Medium, small enterprises. SME. Education, dubulo na ako. Education, access to capital, employment, equal opportunities in the workplace are crucial in empowering women. Behind every successful man is a woman. Narinig na ninyo yan. But every successful woman is behind every successful woman is a tribe of other successful women. You know this firsthand when you have your friends cheering you on. Those of you with Viber groups, and then you post whatever you do, your friends are like, kaya mo yan. So we need to do that for each other. Let us help each other. At nandito na ang inspirasyon ng mga kababaihan, walang iba. So sa inyong lahat, magtulungan po tayo. Maraming salamat po.
Thank you very much, Senator Grace. Once again, take a seat. And ika nga ni Senator, nandito na siya. We would like to invite him to join our panel. Up here on stage, the Honorable Mayor of Manila, Yorme Isko Moreno. I am so intimidated and already inspired by our panelists. Thank you. I learned so much in the brief minutes that Senator Grace gave her presentation. But I'd like to move on to Mayor Joy right now. We heard everything Senator Grace said. And I'm sure with her examples, you see that with your constituents. So how do we do that? How do we empower the women in the homes who take care of their kids, but also can contribute greatly, not just sa family, but to the whole community?
I agree with everything Senator Grace said. I think she already said everything that we have to do in government. But the most important is, of course, ensuring that our girls are educated. Because the best way to eliminate poverty is to educate the girls. Because if girls drop out of school, and for example, right now, one of the biggest problems we have is teenage pregnancy, where about 10% to 11% of our girls get pregnant. And therefore, even if the Magna Carta for women say that it is forbidden to kick out a girl from school when she's pregnant, still she's stigmatized, and therefore voluntarily or is pressured by higher authorities in school to leave school. Chances are, if she has a child and she's not encouraged to go back to school, she will continue to have children. And because she's uneducated, the cycle of poverty will be perpetuated. So I am one of those who believes that we have to empower women by making sure they finish their education. We have to empower them by making sure that they have adequate health care as well, and that they have every opportunity to start an enterprise, whether this is part-time or if necessary full-time. We have to set up the necessary mechanisms wherein they can leave their children to be to a childminder, let's say, in the community, so that she can go to work. No? Because economic empowerment is also very, very important towards making sure, as Senator Grace said, that all the opportunities towards nation building are given to half the population of this country.
Definitely. On the topic of education, I think everyone in this room agrees that cliche, it's the key to success. It's the key to living better lives, education. In the case of Quezon City and Manila, ano po ba ang porsyento or ano po ang budget ng education sa inyong mga lungsod? Am I allowed to ask that? No, di ba? We'd like to know. Yes.
Anyway, thank you. Well, you will see that I think it will be published in a few days, or published already, because one of the requirements is to publish the proposed annual budget of every LGU after the local chief executive signed it into law. But you'll see there the biggest pie of the social amelioration program directed to education at all across the board, because you can only, normally you just put up a building, lagyan mo ng teacher, lagyan mo ng chalk, eskwelahan na siya. But we don't go that yung minimum requirements. We went further to the point, like what Senator Grace po did in the Senate, yung pagkain sa mga bata. No? It's a concept also that we wanted to adopt, done by the Senate, especially Senator Grace po, yung concept ng Nutriban. So yung early childhood, talagang pakakainin namin yun sa Enero, come January. Now, doon sa mid-level students, nakakuha na sila ng libreng secondary education, but I don't want to give them reason not to go to school because wala silang chicha. Pagkain, sorry. Yes, it's existing. While it is true that we are having a good GDP or a very good inflation rate, but the other side of society, we are now talking of the other side of society, there are still kids who hindi papasok dahil alang pamasahe, kasi minsan malayo talaga yung lalakarin niya. Pamasahe is such a way that, alam mo, minsan may mga bata ngayon, tamad na maglakad ng 2 kilometro. Gusto mag-sidecar o gusto mag-tricycle. But be that as it may, we came up with a new law sa Manila, passed a month ago to be implemented on January, wherein all grade 12 students will receive financial assistance. So that there will be no reason. I don't want them to find reason. I know at some aspect of our lives, medyo nang hinahanap natin yung wala. But we'll try to change the mindset of these students by attending to those types of problems. Now, with regard to tertiary education, yes, fortunately, Manila has 2 universities. This is Pamantasan Luzon de Manila and City College of Manila, Universidad de Manila. All students will receive also financial assistance. Then we came up with another approach for 2020. They improving the facilities, even to the point our laboratories. Para hindi na lang namin dinodrawing sa graphic paper kapag pinaiintindi sa amin ng teacher namin. So there will be a physical interaction with regard to this needed facilities. Then PLM, when we had the board meeting about 2 weeks ago, and I asked them, I want PLM to be a research school because we've been producing top-notch students. Top-notcher kami sa architecture, sa engineering, medicine. May taga-UP ba dito? Sorry. Yeah. Kasi yun ang aming North Star. UP as a pre-college education. So, yung level ng UP in terms of quality of education, naahabol na ng PLM at minsan, lumalamang pa kami ng korte from time to time. Yes, it's our priority. I, for one, deprived of such opportunity, at hindi naman kaila sa inyo na hindi ako nakapag-aral. But I saw the beauty if a person will have this type of achievement ba ang tawag doon? O sila'y mabigyan ng pagkakataon makapag-aral. Kaya may awa ang Diyos. Tingin ko naman. Mas gaganda ng gaganda. It is one of the top list. Top 3. Education, healthcare, and housing. That's Manila's direction. Then we talk of heritage and tourism and so on.
Thank you very much, Mayor. I assume also Quezon City, you mentioned education, a big chunk of Quezon City's budget.
Well, I cannot tell you the percentage at the moment. It's somewhere in the back of my head. But all I can say is that my administration will focus on investing in human capital. Now, and this is in comparison to the previous administration, which focused on infrastructure. So I can say that with my administration, for example, and I'll just give you one example, in healthcare, the previous budget was about 550 million on medicines, and in my administration, it will be 2 billion. It's so almost 400% increase. Under my administration, we started the Quezon City University. So now it is in its infancy, and we are in the process of developing the courses for it. And I already know that in my mind, I would like to have a city that is concentrated on tech. Now, tech, because I believe that that is the way to the future. So that university is a very big investment on our part. Now, another one of my flagship projects will be housing. So in Quezon City, we have 215,000 homeless families or informal settler families. In this year, well, I was not blessed with a budget because I inherited the previous administration's budget, which was not much. In the coming year, I can say that my budget is now 27 billion, which is 30% more than last year's budget. And I can say that the reason why we were able to generate this amount is because of good governance. So I want to stress that, like Mayor Isko, we believe in healthcare, in education, in housing, and in providing opportunities for economic growth and to develop the potentials of our women towards economic and political empowerment. But we can only achieve this if we manage our governments well, and that means good government. And what is good government? It is governance that ensures that all of the taxpayers' money goes back to the people, not goes towards lining the pockets of any one individual. And
Amen.
And I think that with good governance, we were able now to do very well in the ease of doing business. So I'd like to brag, because you're businessmen, I'm sure. Quezon City is the base or the benchmark for the ease of doing business of the Department of Trade and Industry. And last year, when I came into office, there are about 195 or so countries in the global ranking. And Quezon City was 124. And so Secretary Mon Lopez, he came to Quezon City and said, Mayor Joy, can you do something about improving? Because the benchmark is quite low, but you are the benchmark. So we concentrated on improving the processes and procedures of doing business, of getting your building permits, of making sure that services are decentralized so that people are no longer inconvenienced to transact with the city, and so on and so forth. And after 4.5 months in public office, our ranking is now 95. So we went up by 29%. In the ease of doing business, just by concentrating on these factors that make people trust government more. And so, for me, the task is very big in cities like mine, in cities like Yorme, where there are lots of poverty. But I think Yorme, he's my idol, by the way. I always look at what he's doing. And then, so close kami, kasi magkapit-bahay kami.
Last na magkasama kami sa Vice Mayor.
Pag gusto kung hindi ko alam magsususpend ako ng class, tatanungin ko kay Yormin, magsususpend ka ba ng class? Tapos pag sabi na magsuspend tayo, sabay kami magsususpend. Ayan. So ganyan kami ka-close. So, ano nga yung gusto ko sabihin, ay tapos na yung oras ko. Pero, so I just wanted to focus on that. That goes hand in hand. Providing social services to our people, especially our girls, cannot be done without making sure that you win the trust and confidence of the taxpayers by making sure that you convince them that you're managing their funds or their money properly.
Anyone here constituent of Quezon City or Manila City? Okay, yeah. Very good. I know it sounds very political, parang economic forum, but really it goes back to what Senator Grace said earlier. Important hand in hand kayong education, health, housing, paano ka papasok kung may sakit, kung pinaproblema mo yung bahay mo. So, and if all of that is in place, the women can be empowered to do what they have to do. Now, at this point, I'd like to go to Gianna because you work with, of course, Hands-On Manila. And
Yes.
I'm just curious, like with the work that you do, what do you feel has been like siguro the key to success or the secret to success of women, of how they have helped uplift the communities that they're in?
First of all, good afternoon to everybody and to the esteemed guests on this panel. when the organizers told me that I was joining, I said, okay, they're all in government. What is my role here? But I think you will be happy to know that at Hanson Manila, our role is to mobilize the private sector to help do things that the government is unable to do because there's just so much to do. So we focus on education, we focus on the environment, livelihood, and health and nutrition. And you will be happy to know that we've had many projects both with Manila, Pagiging, and other local governments, and I promised Joy that we would be having some with also with them. Our programs are, we have a lot of women-centered and children-centered programs. So what we do is we actually, companies actually outsource their corporate social responsibility to us. And what we do is we create programs and we also suggest where to go, which is in your local governments. And we focus on children, we focus on women, we focus on mental health and all. And I'm glad to hear that all of you speak about education because the other side of my life, my professional life, I'm with Far Eastern University, and that's why I am familiar with Mayor Yorme's walang pasok policies. No, but grateful to be with all of you and grateful to be helping government where they're unable to pay attention to certain needs. Thank you.
Yeah, I'd just like to go back to, yun nga, with the work that you do, what have you seen is the key or what trait of a woman has helped really uplift homes, communities?
Okay. Well, to begin with, I would say that 70% of the people who volunteer with us are women. Okay, that's to begin. And they seem to be very involved in causes that uplift women as well, you know, whether it's health. For example, when we go out, we give educational sessions on hygiene. In fact, at the moment, we're busy trying to push this program on menstrual cups because we want, you won't believe it, but in many places, women and girls still don't go to school when they have their period because embarrassment, not having the right. I'm really sorry if somebody in this room is in a company that produces sanitary napkins and tampons, but we think that menstrual cups are a way to also reducing all the problems in the environment. The other things is we teach nutrition to mothers in feeding programs so that they can bring up their children. And in schools, we help develop and build classrooms which also have safe spaces for children, for girls. We teach mothers livelihood projects like citronella candles, soap, etc., which they can use for themselves or they can sell to make money. So there's a lot of programs that we're involved in and invested in, and the goal is really volunteerism for nation building.
Thank you for the work that you do, hand in hand, of course, with our local governments. We had the panel earlier, if you just stepped in, we had 2 panels earlier about women as professionals in the workplace and as creators. And basically, our learning from that is, our panelists said, equal talaga eh, hindi dahil lalaki ka or babae, it's because of your capability. But the reality is, at the grassroots level, like Senator Grace said, there are challenges. There are challenges that women face every day. And I'd like Mayor Joy to talk about, you have a gender fair ordinance in Quezon City, and even Senator Grace, your law on making workplaces safer by prohibiting any form of harassment. Can you share more about that?
Okay, so Quezon City has an ordinance called the Gender Fair Ordinance, or more popularly known to everyone as the SOGI Equality Bill. But in Quezon City, we passed this 5 years ago. That just goes to show how progressive our city is. No, so we have no qualms, no quarrels with anyone. Everyone is quite happy to give equal rights to our LGBTQI plus brothers and sisters. No, and here we teach. We have affirmative action. So we're trying to incorporate it into the curriculum of our schools, that there are many genders, not just the traditional male and female. We are trying to incorporate education of all kinds pertaining to this particular sector. They have a voice in the city government. They are very active in policy making. We have a Pride Council in the Quezon City government. We're the only one, I think LGU, that has a council comprised of LGBTQ plus IIs, QI plus plus, and they make policies and programs pertaining to their sectors. No? So that's one. And then the second is Senator Grace mentioned the Safe Spaces Bill. We are also the first city to pass the Safe Spaces Ordinance, no? Which is popularly known as Bawal Mambastos sa QC or Magastos Mambastos sa QC, wherein if you catcall or you sexually harass women in a public space, that is against the law. And the problem we had was, is this implementable? And we are happy to say that we have some successes. For example, when General Guillermo Eleazar, who was NCRPO but previously QCPD and now he might go higher places, was with us, he relieved many police officers because they were catcalling women on the streets, no? So I love that about him because he's a policeman and yet he promotes gender rights, no, women's rights. And the second is we have several cases of men already women have filed cases against them for catcalling and sexual harassment in public places. So we know that the bill or the ordinance works in our city, and I'm sure now that it will work throughout the country.
Senator Grace, we have the Safe Spaces Act and ordinances like this, but there's a law. But syempre iba yung nangyayari din sa totoong buhay. Women still fall victim, and some men, of course, still fall victim to whatever form of harassment.
Actually, the success of any law is in its implementation. That's why the local government, hats off to you. You're the ones that have to do with the day-to-day supervision of all of these laws that are actually being followed in your jurisdiction. So with the Safe Spaces Act, I think Mayor Joy has already explained it. A woman should feel confident wherever she goes without having to be embarrassed. So it's very simple. It's a very simple law, but it seems like we have to teach some of our citizens discipline and respect, especially nowadays. So that's just basically it. Another thing is the SOGI bill is still really pending in the Senate. But my version is not just about sexual orientation. It also includes ethnicity, religion, no discrimination against those, so that the scope is more inclusive. So I think that's it. I've said the mouthful already earlier, so let's give it others.
Yeah, I guess ibang point of view din ng woman sa man, putting aside being lawmakers and running your own NGO, how do you feel every woman in this room and every woman who will hear this message, how can they do their part in fighting this culture of sexism or discrimination against women or harassment against women? As a woman, ilalas ko siya, Yorme, as a, of his take on it. But, yeah. Beside the job, like as a woman, as mothers, how do we fight? How do you, on a personal level, and how can every woman in this room fight in their own little way these little incidents of sexism and discrimination?
I think it also starts at home. It's how we bring up our children. It's how we bring up our girls. And it's also in our schools, how we teach them that this is wrong, how we teach the men and the boys in our schools that this is also wrong. And I think that if we collectively enforce the idea that this is wrong and that there are consequences to all of this, we will be more successful. I am not saying it will be the perfect way to do everything, because when you try to solve a problem, you try to find a solution, it's never one thing, it's a number of different things that you have to do. But I think that if you start at home and you're able to teach your children and in schools, and you're able to teach the students all of this, you're already a big step ahead, I feel.
Well, all I can say is there are some paradoxes we have to deal with. For example, In the Gender Equality Index, we are number 8 in the world, and that's very, very high, higher than many Western countries. But you know, in the Philippines, it is possible to be a CEO of your company and go home and get beaten by your husband, because 1 out of 4 women is also a victim of violence. We also know that more girls than boys go to school. So we have no problem about educating our girls. But there are also so many girls in our country that are victims of teenage pregnancy, so higher than in many countries. No? So that's a paradox we have to deal with. So I think consistency in the way we teach equality is very important. That when you teach equality, it is across the board, not just in 1 or 2 aspects, but across the board. They have to feel like they're equal.
Well, as I mentioned earlier, I think we can help each other as women. We're the first ones who should rally each other. Aside from education, how we should teach our children, I think sometimes, and I think we're all guilty of this, we're even more judgmental of women. We're the worst critics of women. So I think that we need to understand also that we all come from different backgrounds, and a little bit of encouragement will go a long way. And I'd like to thank also both mayors here. As I've said, no law will really be successful without its proper implementation. People were shocked to see progress in Manila. And our mayor was humble enough to say, pinatupad ko lang ang batas. It's there all along. It's just a matter of actually the implementation. And in Quezon City now, they made leaps and bounds, as the mayors mentioned, when it comes to processing business permits, etc. And all of that can help towards empowering not just women but our citizenry. So anyway, thank you for this opportunity again. Well, Bianca is one woman that I really admire, because you've taken your stand in so many different issues also.
And it has gotten me into trouble many times also, Senator. Pero okay lang, we have to keep
You've been
going
bashed,
on.
you've been bashed.
Of course. I think everyone in this room in some different levels of magnitude lang ang bashing. Yes. Oo.
So, I mean, our admiration.
Thank you. Mutual Admiration Society. Mayor, sorry, I know humihigop mo pa na mainit na kape, but your take on how women in this room, yun nga, can fight everyday harassment that they face, sexism, discrimination. Paano namin magagawa?
Argabyado ako rito, kaliwat kanan ko. Argabyado na ako sa bahay, argabyado pa ako rito. Anyway, my perspective on it. Unang-una, dapat kami maghabol. Ang dami na palang batas ng Quezon City. Pwedeng kopyahin ng siyudad ng Maynila. But let me just share to you an experience or what happened during my watch, at least, so that you'll have kung ano yung talagang layunin ko. Because I don't like chauvinism. My wife will attest to it. Sabi nga ni Abraham Lincoln, and I believe to that statement, all men are created equal. So walang bakla, walang tomboy, walang babae, walang lalaki sa akin. Ang lalaki pwede magmaong, ang babae pwede magmaong. From the beginning, when I entered into government service, yun na, inadapt ko na yun as a matter of principle. Now, and let me prove to you, with those statements, you know, nung ako po ay na pinalad na maging vice mayor, I tried to convince the entire 38 members of the city council to vote for a woman majority floor leader. And they did. So historically, medyo macho. Alam niyo, Maynila, medyo magaspang. Kami, medyo medyo macho nga. Basta parang ganun ang dating. But I really try to make women feel that they're part of the legislative process by a woman leading the city council. And they did. That is Vice Mayor Ani Lacuna. Then, noong ako'y pinalad na makapamili na ayusin ng traffic sa Manila at that time, no? ang kinuha kong chief from PNP, uniform personnel, si Colonel Sagaysay. Babae din. Siya talaga. Doon ko nakita mas masarap kasama ang babae. Ay, hindi mahalaga yan eh. Mas matapang pa sa lalaki. There was I cannot give you details, but there are instances when I saw it that mukhang nakachamba ko dito. So today, as we speak, General Balba, now an incumbent district director, asked me, "Sir, okay lang ba sa iyo? First time gagawin natin. Dalawang precinct commander, babae. Do you have any idea what is a precinct commander? A colonel who handles a particular radius of a community, geographically speaking." Tas babae ang I said, sabi ko, parang nahulaan mo yung iniisip ko which is good for us. Because, when I went to campaign in 2016 and I asked Manila, pwede ba makisuyo sa inyo? Sabi ko, total alaws na ako, pwede ba ang iboto ninyo na Vice Mayor? Gawin natin makasaysayan ang Maynila, na kauna-una ang Vice Mayor sa Maynila na maboboto, babae. And fortunately, napakinggan naman ako ng mga taga Maynila, nanalo si Vice Mayor Hani Lacuna. Now, my partner is Vice Mayor Hani Lacuna, babae. So, my point is, I for one, yung aking mga predecessors, sila din mahilig sa babae. Iba nga. Ako mahilig ako sa babae as co-worker, and the way I look at it, sometimes sometimes lamang kami, mga lalaki. Sometimes lamang din ang mga babae sa amin. Kaya nagdudulot ng magandang synchrony or harmony. When the people started seeing that women can do it also, especially in our challenging community in the city of Manila. So, paswerte lang kami, Bianca, I think dumating na ang panahon ng mga tagalungsod ng Maynila na maunawaan nila ang kahalagahan ng pagkakapantay-pantay. So, yan ay mananatili hanggat pinapalad akong pamunuan ang lungsod ng Maynila at Kapitolyo ng Bansa. There's so much laws, national laws. We may not have to adopt other laws, but hanggat nandiyan ako, ito lang naman, pumunta na kayo, bumalik kayo sa Maynila. Hanggat nandiyan ako, walang lalaking mga abuso ng babae. Walang babaeng mga abuso ng lalaki. Both ways. The source for it. Pantay-pantay pa. Because I made that commitment with all honesty. And we wanted to show you that how committed we are by our actions and the results of our actions. Yung mas tangible, mas nakikita at nararamdaman ng tao. Yan po, yan lang ang pwede namin na ipagmalaki sa inyo sa Kapitolyo ng Bansa doon sa panahon na.
Maraming salamat, Mayor, and thank you very much to our panelists for your stories. It's important that we hear these stories because the women in this room, and again, whoever you will share these stories with, if they know that women can run their own NGOs, be mayor, be senator, be precinct commanders, like earlier, be a champion weightlifter, run their own coding school, diba? The more we share these stories, the more other people will know na, ako din, pwede kong gawin yon. That's why it's really important to have dialogues and discussions like this. Okay, now, It's your very, very rare chance to go up to the mic right here by the center front of the stage to ask any question you might want to ask our panelists. Yes, we have a brave soul. Kanina pa kasi sila shy mag-ask talaga. So now we have a brave soul. Yes, your name is?
Good afternoon. My name is Miles. I'm a student.
Hi, Miles.
My question is there a law, long-term solution or collaborative effort to take care of family on the streets, whether on a national or local level? Because there are mothers on the streets, girls on the streets who are not seen. And majority of these are in Manila and Quezon City. And whose responsibility is it? Is it sole responsibility of DSWD? Because I'm a Filipino citizen who is hoping to end poverty in my beloved country. Thank you.
Thank you, Miles. So yes, women, children on the streets. Anyone would like to?
Well, depende sa perspective ng leader. Ang leader would always point finger if they don't want to attend to the situation. Normal. Let's be honest now to ourselves. You are leading a city. You really wanted to show your city that there's so much vagrancy and mothers in the streets. Would you actually sleep on it? So the normal reaction is the local chief executive should act on the matter. Yun ang basic. No? Pero the other side of the situation is there are local government units who lacks, kinakapos, kinukulang ng kakayanan. Good thing that Congress and Senate passed so many laws that are being implemented already by an agency of the state or the national government, which is in this case DSWD. And I was fortunate also to be part of that organization as undersecretary, and I saw the capacity of DSWD. Ngayon, having said that, directly now, I for one, ayoko talaga, with all honesty, ayoko sila nasa Kalaw. Ayoko sila nasa kanto ng Kalaw Top Avenue. Ayoko sila nasa kanto ng post office, sa likod ng NPC, sa baba ng Burke Building. Ayaw talaga. They're everywhere. But meron kaming pasilidad. Now you're going to hear the other side of the coin. Meron kaming pasilidad. Kakalapin namin. In fact, as you heard, pinagbawal ko ang minor de edad sa kalsada ng lungsod ng Maynila. At pinananagot ko yung magulang. 5 magulang na kinasuhan namin sa korte. Because of paulit-ulit na papabaya, pagpapariwara sa kanyang anak. Ayaw namin, kinakalap namin, nilalagay namin sa pasilidad namin. Hindi hotel ang pasilidad namin, pero may bubong, may unan, may pagkain. Mas mabango pa yung pasilidad namin kaysa bahong ng loto. But, the end of the day, tingnan po ninyo, kayo po ang humusga. You will see the same faces. Yung pag kinalap namin, lalabas. Paglabas, pabalik. Kakalapin namin, paliliguan, may damit na bago, maraming salamat sa donation nyo, nakakain ng Carne Norte, nakatikim ng magandang meal, then, a day or two, babalik. Bakit? Ano ba talagang hinahabol nila? Let's answer that. Pera lang. Kasi mas gugustuhin nila, don't get me wrong ha, nagre-real talk lang tayo para meron tayong visual o sakit ng lipunan. Ano ba ang habol nila? Meron na kami pasilidad, sapat na, pati anak nila. Ultimo boys town namin may eskwelahan. De Valeriano Pugoso School. Mismo sa loob ng pasilidad. Hindi, alam niyo ang gagawin talaga. Ewan ko ano pumasok sa kaisipan nila na mas gustuhin nila bumalik sa kalye, doon sa paanan ni Fernando Po Jr. na estatwa sa Rose Boulevard. Opo, wala na doon. we don't deny this because I've been asking a solution. Kasi nga, ang tanong ko nga sa inyo, dalawang bagay lang yan, tulugan ba yan ng local chief executive o aksyonan yan? It depends on the point of view of the local chief executive. In this case, we're trying to address it because I, for one, I was fortunate enough, kahit na squatter kami, ang nanay ko may pagmamahal sa akin. Hindi ako hayaan na sa kanya. Bakit itong nanay, or homeless, giving opportunity to stay in a facility, would rather be back again sa kali. Ang puro dulo, pizza. I mean, pera. Magkano magmamalimos. Kasi naging habit. So now, here we are. What is, again, that is a problem. A solution given, then a problem arises again. I think, alam niyo, problema, ang talagang solusyon, kailangan ko ng maraming mga psychologists. I swear. Kailangan ko ng maraming mga naging inspired ng tao, nagbabago ng mindset. I think yun ang solusyon. On how are they going to value their lives? Being a mother, being a woman in the streets of Manila at 1 a.m., 2 a.m. and their parents if there is. So, kaya kung bakit, mapapansin po ninyo, unti-unti talagang pinipilit kong kausapin ang mga mamamayan in a very diplomatic way because a lot of people try already in Manila by using their muscle and their whatever character that they want to project. But tingin ko ang solusyon, kung gusto nyo kaming tulungan, siguro kami meron kami psychologist. Don't get me wrong. Meron din kami mga motivator o strict nagbahagi ng pamahalaan. Ganun din ang DSWD. But if you're going to pull out all your resources and put up a foundation, put up an organization, I think you should venture into their minds more than other logistical support that the city and the national government is providing for them.
So I think the question was about, do we have a problem, solution to women and children on the streets? So in terms of, I'll just answer that there's two problems kasi yung mga nasa sarili mong lungsod tsaka yung mga nakatira sa ibang mga lungsod. No? So what we do is, kapag nasa lungsod namin, inaalagaan namin. So we have a center for women who are victims of violence and abuse. We have a center for children who are victims of dangerous drugs. We have all kinds of centers. We have a center for abandoned children, etc. Pero kung hindi taga-lungsod Quezon, we try to connect with the LGU from where these people come from, and we ask the mayors, can you please look after your people? No, and the problem is really that not all LGUs have these facilities. Kaya bumabalik sa Quezon City because it's the biggest city and it's the easiest city in which to make money. Now, in this coming Christmas, we are expecting an influx of indigenous peoples because kada Pasko dumadating yung mga Aita, yung mga nanggagaling sa iba't ibang bahagi ng Pilipinas at dumadami sila at dito sila sa Metro Manila tumitira at kumikita. We have a project with the DSWD to create IP village for families who are coming to the big city to earn a living during the Christmas holidays. We have a place for them to be in, and we are generating donations from the private sector to support them, so at least they can have a happy Christmas before they go back to their provinces. But with regards to your question about a law, we don't have a law, we just have a lot of programs in place.
Thank you very much, Mayor Joy. Alam niyo, whenever I get, one more, do we have time? Now, biglang ang dami gusto magtanong. Do we have time for, unfortunately, we have no time for further questions. Buti na lang si Miles na una sa question, but really, every time I get to interview local and national leaders, it just goes to show how much there is to do, di ba? They already talked about education, housing, health, tapos ngayon, ang dami, and all the problems magkakakonekta. So if they talked about what they are doing to help, I hope all of us also, I guess in our own little way, this discussion inspired you to do whatever we can in whatever capacity we have to do what we can. Kasi it will benefit not just the women, of course, but the whole community as well. I think they're asking me to wrap up, tama ba? Who am I looking at? Yes, I'm sorry, we are being asked to wrap up, but again, we would definitely like to give our sincerest gratitude, Gianna, Mayor Joy, Senator Grace, and Yorme. Maraming salamat. Maraming salamat daw sa Philippine Star, sabi ni Mayor. At this point, we would like to invite up on stage once again to award our tokens of appreciation, Ms. Yoli, Sir Miguel, and Sir Lucien. Please do join us here on stage.
Kamay.
Thank you. Thank you very much once again to our esteemed speakers for our third session.
Pictures ko na with Philippine Star. Okay. Thank you, ha. Good to see you.
Oh,
Philippine Star.
sorry, very limited answers to those who wanted to ask their questions. Yeah, I hope in the future, in the next sessions, you will be able to ask your questions.
Thank you.
While our guests are trying to make it out of the venue, we'd like to remind you about our Women Today Sheroes Contest Mechanics. We have mechanics pala, bongga. So you have to like and follow the Philippine Star and Insular Life pages on Facebook. And have your image taken at the photo wall behind Insular Life's booth sa labas yun. Caption your photo by completing this sentence. An empowered woman is...
Ito muna kayo.
Blank. Yan. So, upload it on Facebook with the caption, with the hashtag Women Today, in Life Sheroes, and an empowered woman. O yan, daming hashtag pala, no? Okay, upload it on Facebook with the captions, hashtag Women Today, hashtag In Life Sheroes, and hashtag an empowered woman. So yeah, whoever will upload on Facebook, please do make sure your photo is, or your profile is on public, so everyone can see your definition of power. I love it. This is really a star-studded panel. Kanya-kanya yung photo. At this point, we would like to ask our attendees to slowly make their way back to your tables as our VIPs have their next schedules to head out. Thank you once again, Diana, Senator Grace, and your next superstar talaga. Once again, a reminder to everyone in the venue to slowly make it back to your seats as we will begin our fourth session. Dapat na. Thank you very much. Even I take a selfie with Senator Grace.
Sir, yes. Balik na po tayo sa seats natin para po makapag-proceed na po tayo sa
Okay, once again, if anyone will upload any photos on social media, please use the hashtag StarWomenToday.
labas, sa labas.
Sa labas na lang po. Excuse me po. I know, para po makapag-proceed na po kami sa program. So, wait lang.
1 minute.
Oh wow! Okay, you know what you have to upload? The 10 best entries will receive 1 ER Care Basic, a one-time use prepaid health voucher that provides up to 50,000 outpatient emergency cases.
Lalabas na ba si Lord?
Once again, if you upload your photo, they will be choosing 10 best entries to receive 1 ER Care Basic prepaid health voucher that provides up to 50,000 outpatient emergency.
Wait lang po, wala po nagano rito.
Our VIPs are still trying to make it out of the venue at this point. Guys, hindi talaga natin napipigilan ko ng picture. Oo, wala makakapigil.
Tama na po.
Rockstar eh, Miss Yoli. Okay, now that the room is a bit more quiet, I'd like to remind you, so 10 winners of a prepaid health voucher that provides up to 50,000 outpatient emergency cases. So it's a really, really good price. So just take a photo, caption it with an empowered woman is blank. Hashtag women today. Hashtag in life she rose. And hashtag an empowered woman. Ang daming hashtag. We love hashtags in the Philippines. Si Mayor is graciously granting photos to adoring fans as well as the Senator. Hindi na sila makalabas ng venue.
Ano pa na? Isang umalis na ba?
Sumama na ako sa Senator. Yes. Dahil nag-picture na sila, I will join in on the picture na nila.
Balik na po tayo. Nakamasin niya.
Mayor, sa tabi na po tayo. Excuse me, sa tabi na po kami. Kaliwa na po kami. Sorry, dito po. Dito, Mayor, dito. Sa gilid tayo. Boss. Christian. Oo naman.
Shoot tayo.
Let's go. Excuse me. Excuse me, dito. Doon na tayo mag-interview. Excuse me, please. Excuse me. Mauna na po ako sa inyo.
Ayan, wait lang po. Excuse me po.
Huwag ka pa. dito.
Mag-hello ka na lang.
May mukha namang mayor ito katabi ko eh.
Ngayon na.
We're the strong ones.
Okay, at this point, we will have to continue on with our fourth session. Congratulations to all who were able to take a photo and a selfie with our rock stars of the day. Our fourth session,
Yes, sir.
aptly titled Women as Muses, Exuding Beauty and Brains.
Thank you.
Sir, pamit na daw. Yes! Miss Alex. Ayun, Miss Alex. Pwede magpa-picture sa iyo? Ako siguro. Ako ba yung Hindi, wait. One more.
CNN.
Oh yeah. I was asked by General Balba if it is okay for me to position two women colonel in our PCP, in our commanders or precincts. And I said yes. Kaya nga sabi ko, hindi naman sa pagbubuhat ng bangko. More than the words, all you have to do is to go back a little bit of history during the time of my leadership in the City Council and during the course of our political career. And as you can see now, napapaliguran ako ng mga babae. I mean, not literally now, like in the office, you know. I have a very brilliant, honest, hardworking partner, Vice Mayor Ani Lacuna. Most of my department heads are babae. Out of 40, I think more than 50%. So even yung mga medyo masiselang na ahensya, babae. So this is a statement of facts. Even our roads are being painted with rainbow colors. More than press release. So basta we wanted to send a very good message that sa Manila, babae, lalaki, bakla, tomboy, ano man ang preference nila sa buhay. Sa Manila, umanatag sila. Sa Manila, pantay-pantay. Patas ang pagtingin, paglingon, pag-aruga sa kanila ang pamalang lungsod ng Manila.
So which areas are you going to put these female colonels?
In the precinct. No? Sa presinto mismo. Commander. Yeah, they're doing it in a day or two now.
Okay. Doon ba sir sa mga critical areas?
Galing mo. Hopefully. Because I have a very good experience asking a lady colonel, Major then, to lead our traffic management. And I was very happy because there are so many incidents that she was trying to be bribed, but she declined. So
madalit salita, mas mahirap kausap ang babae.
Sir, speaking of
Which is
speaking
good.
of critical areas, sir, no, speaking of Ilaya, makulit, may mga pasaway pa rin. Will they be possibly assigned in that area?
Well, CNN has records of my statements since day one. You can check. And I said, hindi ako titigil. I will not stop. It's hard. Don't get me wrong. Do I get tired? Yes. Do I get frustrated? Yes. Sometimes you feel that you fail? Yes. But the question is, will I stop? No. Will I pursue cleanliness, orderliness, peace, and prosperity? Hopefully. At the same time protecting our heritage in the city of Manila. Yes. Will I be successful? I don't guarantee you that. What is your minimum guarantee? At the very least, Manila will be different. In the coming days, weeks, months, even years in our lives. And I think it's high time. So those, yung mga ibang individual na nahirapi, nasanay na yung abnormal ay ginawang normal, you're not welcome to me.
Sir, definitely.
If you want to help me, you're always welcome.
Sir, definitely merong nagpabaya kaya may mga kalat pa rin.
Hindi.
Will you be
Definitely, meron pa rin mga enterprising individual na inuurot itong mga maliliit nating kababayan, giving them false hope, a guarantee that has no authority. But more than anything else, ang pakiusap ko lang, kapag kayo pinagbawal na po, huwag nyo na pong ipipilit at huwag po kayong makikipag-usap sa mga taong sasabihin, magbigay ka lang ng konti, okay na. No. Those days are gone now. I'm sending back to their respective city already.
Sir, humingi ng third chance. Meron
Sabi nga nung one more chance. Yan.
So may chance na, sir?
No, but kidding aside, no, I think then I go back to day one. Then again, I go back last. Hanggang kailan chance? What kind of chance? I gave him chance. In fact, hindi pagbubuhat ng bangko. I challenge CNN, go to Binondo, Ilaya. It's clear. Go to Tondo, Ilaya. There's Bendo. Go to Carmen Planas. There is Bendo. Santo Cristo, there is Bendo. Portion of MD Santos, there is Bendo. Roman, between Soler and Recto, there is a street, small street, Roman. There is Bendos. But those areas which I asked, na disiplinahin nila, kaya sila nananatili doon, dala ng sumusunod sila sa tagubili ng pamahalang lungsod. Sabi ko, huwag niyo pupuntahan ng Recto. It should be made available to everybody. Non-negotiable. Huwag niyo pupuntahan ng Waluna. It should be made available to everybody. Non-negotiable. So sa awa ng Diyos, nangyari yun since July 1 up to now. And I was tested. And I cannot blame everybody or anybody to be pessimistic in the situation since July 1. Hindi, 1 week lang yan kasi bago mayor. Nung natapos yung 1 week, 2 weeks lang yan, bago yung mayor. Then 1 month lang yan, bago yung mayor. And then, 4 na buwan eh. They will keep being pessimistic about Recto, Waluna, and Soler, but it will be mananatiling malinis, maayos, bukas sa pangkalahatan. Now, hindi ko naman sinasabing minalas yung Ilaya, Binondo, for the simple reason, sila naman ang nagpabaya. Hindi naman ako nagkulang. Saka ako hindi naman kaila sa inyo. Nakikisuyo ako lagi. Nagdidiplomasya. Now, I hope, those other areas, perpendicular roads to the prohibited roads, kapag nabigyan sila ng pagkakataon, huwag na nila sayangin ang pagkakataon. Walang tumatamang kidlat sa dalawang kidlat sa isang lugar. Sayang. We have to move on. We're catching up with our neighboring cities. We really have to catch up. 2 decades of lost opportunity. Even to this point, this building, 20 years ago, there's no such thing as this building. Squatter area to, tapat ng airport. But look at it now. Jobs created by this business, taxes, and development. So, kailangan namin yun naman ang pinagkikisuyo ko. Wala akong masamang intention. In fact, bawal sila. Let's be honest to ourselves. Roads, alleys, boulevards are beyond the commerce of men, as like what the Supreme Court said. But for purposes of compassion, yung pagkalinga, pinipilit mong akapin yung pose mong akapin. Pero may hangganan na lahat. Hindi ko naman pwedeng pangibabawi na lamang yung puro puso, masasakripisyo, yung higit na nakakarami. That's unfair governance. I'm really trying to ask majority of the people to understand them. I'm rallying the majority of the people to understand their plight, to give them chance to make a living. But the problem is, sila naman ang gumagawa nun. How can I go back to the majority of the people and say, pasensya na kayo, pinagbigyan ko, tinambakan nila ng basura, okay lang, biyerno tayo. Trabaho naman natin magakot. Yes, trabaho ko magakot ng basura. Pero ang basura, dapat yan, inaayos sa tamang sisidlan. Hindi yung para bang maintindihan kung ganun ba sila talaga sa bahay. So, but anyway, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I hope God will forgive me later on if I'm part of one person, isang buhay ng isang tao na nahihirapan. But I cannot, hindi ko pwedeng pabayaan ang higit na nakakarami. They deserve it. Mahirap, middle class, mayaman. I have to deserve it.
So finally, I'm not sure if you saw this, yung reaction lang sir, kasi diba yung dito sa underpass, ginaganda natin, tapos biglang binandalize nila kung ano-ano mga sulat ng messages from the...
China. O, tingnan nyo. O, sige, pasikatin natin. Yung mga nagbabandalism. Tingnan po ninyo, pininturahan namin underpass, binandal ninyo. O ngayon, pininturahan namin ulit. O ngayon, pera nyo na ginastos namin. The same money that you pay the government, we are going to use, ang gagawin ko sa mga rallyista na to, yung perang ibibigay ko sa inyo para sa edukasyon, o yun ang gagamitin ko para ipampintura ko ng dinumihan ninyong pader. O, magutom kayo lahat sa loob ng eskwelahan. Kung ako nasa national government, yun ang gagawin. Eh kayo ang nagbababoy eh. Hindi po makatwiran yan eh. Hindi ko ba? So sa akin, naghahanap kayo ng matinong pamahalaan. Naghahanap kayo ng matinong tao sa pamahalaan. I'm not saying I'm one of those. But we're really trying to clean up and revive and making Manila vibrant. We don't deserve this. The people of Manila don't deserve this. Huwag kayong pahuli sa akin. Sige. Human rights. Pag nahuli ko kayo, padidila ko sa inyo to. Buburayin nyo to ng dila nyo.
Thank you, sir.
Baboy lang, ganda-ganda eh. Ang linis na nga eh. It took 15 years for that underpass to be attended. Nobody attended to that underpass. People are afraid of passing through that underpass because there's so much obstruction. Solvent boy here, solvent boy there. Hold upper here, hold upper there. People don't trust anymore underpass. Noong nilinis natin, hindi ko naman pinaganda eh. Hindi ko pinaganda. Wala pang pinapaganda ron. Nilinis, pininturahan, nilagyan lang ng ilaw. Ang ilaw nga nilagay ko, fluorescent eh. Pasinin ninyo. Namuhay kami ng frugal o yung ano lang, just ano lang, simple. Para may ilaw lang. Yun lang. Binababoy ninyo. Sige, I'll deal with you later. Later today.
Selfie naman tayo.
Layos. Gusto ko siya. Ay, yawan yun. Yawan yun.
Posible kayang baguhin agos ng buhay natin. Mahirap ang mangarap, pero huwag kang kukurap. Posible bang totohanin mga pangako sa'kin? Hindi kwento, hindi bola, solusyong may pruweba na. Sulong laban, huwag uurong. Pakinggan sa iyong puso ang sigaw na dating bulong. Posible.
Marami kami! Meron pa palang ganito sa buhay namin.
Matal manalo, hindi tayo makakapaya.
Posible kayang lagpasan lahat ng iyong inaasahan. Sa unos ng paghamon, may bilis na aksyon. Sulong laban, huwag uurong. Pakinggan sa iyong puso ang sigaw na dating bulong. Posible, sulong isko, huwag susuko. Tunay na solusyon, tunay na mabilis umaksyon. Posible, 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 posible. Posible kayang baguhin agos ng buhay natin. Mahirap ang mangarap, pero huwag kang kukurap. Posible bang totohanin mga pangako sa'kin? Hindi kwento, hindi bola, solusyong may pruweba na. Sulong laban, huwag uurong. Pakinggan sa iyong puso ang sigaw na dating bulong. Posible.
Marami kami! Meron pa palang ganito sa buhay namin.
Matal manalo, hindi tayo makakapaya.
Posible kayang lagpasan lahat ng iyong inaasahan. Sa unos ng paghamon,